Are you gonna help me film this video? Look at her. Her name is Emmy. Hello, people of the internet, and welcome back to my channel. Where are you going? She's smelling my shoe now. So today we are going to be working on a project, and you can see that project right behind me. I have done probably multiple different dollhouse tours here on this channel, and I haven't done one in forever. If you guys remember the last dollhouse that I was using for one of my series on the channel, I did eventually get rid of it, and it was actually given to a mom and her children, so hopefully they are taking good care of it. But today we're going to be starting a new one. And I figured that this time I would actually do a little mini series showing you guys how I take this and turn it into something cute, because I never did that in any of my past dollhouses, so this is going to be different and exciting, and I'm going to walk you through the whole process and give you guys tips in case any of y'all want to do the same thing. Also, if you're wondering what happened to my finger, like a beauty guru, you know, look at my finger. Yeah, so basically I was actually doing something for this dollhouse. I was making like bookshelves, which you'll see later on, and I accidentally cut my finger with a craft knife. I literally like sliced it. So if you're wondering what this ugly thing is on my finger, that's what it is. So the dollhouse that we are going to be giving a makeover to is from KidKraft. If you watched any of my other dollhouse tour videos, those were also KidKraft dollhouses. So I do recommend, if you're looking for like a cheap-ish Barbie dollhouse, then definitely buy a KidKraft. I mean, it's made of like particle board, it's not real wood. But you know what, it does the job. So this one in particular is the, don't mess with the camera. I see you staring at it, don't mess with it, thank you. Okay, she's supervising and smelling the carpet. Okay, so this is the KidKraft Shimmer Mansion, which you can, at the time that I'm filming this, you can actually buy this exact model from their website, and I say that for a reason, because KidKraft, they will sell their dollhouses for a period of time, and then they eventually stop selling that like particular model. So like I said, this is the Shimmer Mansion. You can get it currently at the time I'm filming this from their website, but I will say it is over $200. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm not in the mood to pay those prices. I am not. So I actually went on Facebook Marketplace and I found someone selling this exact dollhouse for $80, which I would rather pay $80 than over $200. And so that's where I got this from. And just a tip for you guys, if you are looking for like a cheap KidKraft, definitely look on places like that. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to not do that. Thank you. If you are looking for like a cheap KidKraft dollhouse and you don't want to pay full price, definitely check out Facebook Marketplace, because I've seen KidKraft dollhouses on there for like 25 bucks. So just saying. Anyways, if you're wondering why it looks, like why is there a wall piece, and why is it like lopsided, the reason why is because in order to fit it into the vehicle when we went to go pick it up, we had to take it apart partially. So like it's kind of like unstable and everything, which is why I don't want my cat jumping on it. But here's what I did, guys. I do want to show you guys the quick plan, which I printed here. This is just an image that I found on my Google Images, and I printed it out and I labeled everything. And I would highly recommend doing that if you are planning on giving a makeover to a dollhouse, because it just helps with like planning out what paint colors you want, you know, what rooms are going to have what themes. For this like top room, it's kind of like a loft, which I think is really cool. So the top room I'm going to be using for Dolly, if you guys remember the characters from the series that I'm referring to. I'm doing like a Y2K like slash 2000s room, which I think is going to be really fun. And then for Savannah, I'm doing like retro 80s. And then next to that, we have Tyson's room, and his room is just blue. It's just blue. I don't know how to explain it more than that. It's blue. Below that, we have Amelia's room slash the nursery, which for this room, I'm not actually going to be painting it, only because I'm doing wainscoting. I don't know if anyone knows what that is.
Wow.
But I'm doing that, and then I'm also doing wallpaper, so I'm not going to be painting that room. And then for the master bedroom, I'm doing white, bathroom white, living room white, and then kitchen slash dining white. So the very first thing that we're going to be doing is taking this apart. Now, I am going to mention this because I feel like it is important. Technically, you could paint the dollhouse while it is assembled, but I'm going to tell you right now, Okay, listen here. It is easier to do it when it's not assembled, because if you do it while it is assembled, you're gonna, first of all, it's a dollhouse, so you're gonna be like in the dollhouse, you know, that's gonna be annoying. And then doing like the corners and like the baseboards and stuff, it's just gonna be annoying, a little bit tedious. So I would just recommend taking it apart and then you have a flat surface to paint. Okay, so I was thinking to myself, where should we start? Because I feel like if I start like down below, you know, this whole thing is gonna collapse and there's gonna be like an earthquake in the dollhouse land. So what are you messing with? I don't know what she's doing. Anyway, so I think we're gonna start with the roof. I feel like that's smart. So let's do that. Can I help you with something? Are you gonna like assist me, or are you just gonna look at me? Thanks. Okay, so I got one screw and I do have a little container. Definitely want to do that because you don't want to lose any screws. Also, I put the screw in the container and it like bounced out. How does that work? How does that work? Don't you dare. Okay, got that. Let's do these ones as well. Also, I would recommend just using like a screwdriver for assembling it and taking it apart, because I think if you use a drill it might be too strong, because this is particle board and I feel like if you use, oh, there's another screw. Like I was saying, I think if you use a drill it might be a little too strong, if you know what I mean, and it might like strip the screw or mess with the wood or something. But here is the roof piece. It has a little ceiling fan. And now I think we're gonna do this right here. Okay, got this piece. Okay, so now I think we're gonna do this piece right here. Okay, so I struggled getting this out, but I got it out. That's all that matters. It's all good. There you go. Got one. Got that. Got that. There we go. So one thing that I'm just now realizing that I forgot to do is I did mean to label all of the walls with like sticky notes while it was assembled, so I knew you know, what walls were going to be what color. Obviously I have the paper, so it shouldn't be too bad because I can obviously see, you know, all the walls, and so I could just go from there. And plus, regardless, even if you're, let's say, painting a brand new KidKraft dollhouse and you have to assemble it, you're gonna have to like figure out, you know, what walls belong to what anyways. But that is, I guess, a tip that I would recommend for you guys, even though I forgot to do it. If you are gonna be painting a dollhouse that's already assembled, and that you have to take apart, I would recommend just labeling everything with like sticky notes beforehand. I feel like it would make things easier, but it's not impossible even if you have like a picture. Right now I am taking these like paint stairs out. Don't even think about jumping up here, I promise you. Don't. It's not gonna go well for you. This thing will collapse. Alright, so the stairs should come out just like that. This part does slide out though. So I got that. There we go. Okay. Out like that. Okay, so this is now off. Here comes the cat again. Alright, so this wall is loose. Just need to unscrew this over here. Alright guys, so everything was disassembled, as you can see here, and I went ahead and labeled all of the pieces, which, like I said earlier, this is something I recommend doing before you take everything apart, but I didn't do that, so I had to do it afterwards. But it's not a big deal because all I did was just look up a picture of the dollhouse, like for example from the KidKraft website, and it's pretty easy to identify which walls go where because of the little designs that they have on them. So yes, I just labeled everything with sticky notes, and it... Okay, if you hear that, that is my cat running around. I also have all the floors over there. Obviously, I'm not going to be painting those. I also have this, if you guys remember, this is in the loft area, and it's like a window, and it is slightly transparent. And the thing is, I'm really not a fan of those like plants on the bottom, especially because as you can see, this little part down there at the bottom, like you can see some of the flooring, and I'm not really a fan of that because I am going to be changing obviously the floors, and so that is going to look a little weird. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do about that. Alright guys, so I'm inserting this clip here to talk a little bit about paint because that is an important part. Now I'm going to add a quick disclaimer that I am not an expert on paint by any means, but this is just my recommendation based on my own experience because I've painted these dollhouses like a few times at this point, and you can take this recommendation as you will. Here's what I am going to be using to paint this dollhouse. These are little color sample jars that I got from Home Depot. I'm going to tell you right now, you do not need like a gallon of paint to paint a dollhouse. I mean, maybe if you're doing like some massive dollhouse, but like for the KidKraft ones, for example, I find that these little sample size 8-ounce jars are good enough. Can basically get these little sample size jars in the colors that you want, and these are also satin paints. I'm gonna quickly just show you guys what colors I got. So the very first one is delicate white. What makes it delicate? I'm not sure. It's white. Are you eating something? What are you doing? It sounded like she's eating a plastic bag. Anyways, I was looking for like a light blue color, and I mean, you can kind of see it on the jar a little bit. It's a really cute blue. I don't know if you can see that, but love this color, super cute. And then last but not least, I got a light purple. Yeah, it's cute. I like it. I will also note that you can actually go on the Home Depot website and you can order these jars of paint. What are you doing? You can go on the Home Depot website and actually order paints to get delivered to your... Why are you chewing on the tag? Like I was saying, you can go on the Home Depot website and actually order paint and have it delivered to your house for free. This is not sponsored. Unless... If you hear that noise in the background, that is the noise of neighborhood festivities on a Thursday. Alright guys, so I want to give an update because it is day 3 of my painting. I wish I were joking. And here's the thing, I haven't really been filming it. I started filming like the very first day, and then after that, y'all, listen, it's already hard enough to be like outside in your driveway painting amongst all the neighborhood festivities where everyone and their mother decides to go for a walk, and look at what you're doing. It's hard enough doing that, but also like, you know, having to film when you have like this big camera. I have a DSLR kit, like having... But it's just extra harder when you have a camera and people can see it. So I've just been busy painting, and you're wondering probably, why has it taken 3 days? Here's the thing, I'm going to show you. This right here is a white board, right? This is one of the dollhouse pieces that I painted white. So here's the thing about white. And here's the thing about KidKraft Dollhouses. If you guys remember from earlier in the video, we saw the KidKraft Dollhouse. Guys, there was a vehicle that drove past my house, and I have a table set out there with like painting stuff, and I saw the woman in the passenger seat go like this. and she probably saw me because of the doors. So if you remember, this whole piece of wood here was covered in like that printed background. And so covering that up with white paint, I'm gonna try to emphasize this as much as I possibly can. So I had to do a lot of coats of white paint to cover that. And it looks like this now. So it is. So if you remember from the beginning of the video, a lot of the things that I was going to paint, a lot of the walls was going to be white. So there's my problem, and it took me forever. Okay, coat after coat after coat, and mind you, you have to wait. They say like 3 to 4 hours in between coats, so you can see my dilemma. Anyways, I did also get the purple, which look how pretty that is. I'm so glad that I picked this color because there was some other purple ones I was looking at, but this is like the perfect like light purple, and this one I only needed like maybe 2 coats of, and it like covered the background. And then here's that cute pink, which is in the shade Adorbs, and this one took a few coats as well, actually several coats. Not as many as white, but it did take more than like purple, for example. But there's that piece. And then here's the blue, which I also really like how this one turned out. And the blue didn't need that many coats either, so I was pretty happy about that as well. So basically I spent the past couple of days getting everything painted. So then today, my primary focus for the 3rd day of painting was to finish up the white, which thankfully I actually only needed 1 more coat of white to those walls, and I was so happy about that. So those white walls are done. The other thing that I spent pretty much most of the day doing is, if you guys remember all of those like, well, I have it in my hand so you can see it, but these like wood rods that, thank you, these like wooden rods. So if you guys remember, these were like rods that were placed, for example, like it would be placed vertically and then there's like a floor on top of it, if you guys remember what I'm talking about. And I originally was just gonna keep them into that wood, you know, look, just the default wood design that was on there, but I actually decided to paint them, and I ended up going with white. And one of the reasons I did white, which I'll show you in just a second, one of the reasons why I did white was because, here's the thing, so this is like, for example, the floor, and then this would be like the trim, but then in the back of the room, like when you're looking into the dollhouse, you're gonna see this like wood piece right here, and then of course the wall is attached to it. But I thought that it kind of looks like a baseboard, and so I decided to do white because I feel like it would be realistic. That is basically what I spent most of the day doing. And just for the record, for the trim, I did not use the regular like latex paint. I actually just used white gloss acrylic paint, and I would recommend doing that, honestly. I mean, you could just use the normal like house paint, but if you are gonna do like little details like just painting the trim and stuff, just use acrylic paint. And I would recommend gloss. I mean, you could use matte, I suppose, but another reason why I like to use the acrylic paint as opposed to the latex paint is that it dries so much faster than like the latex house paint. If I would have done the house paint, I'd be here next week doing the same thing. Okay, ignore my shaky hands, but this is basically what I'm working with right now. So these are all of the pieces that are fully painted and done, finally. I will note that these like, what are those? Like the trim pieces that go like on the roof. I did paint them, obviously. So just to show you guys, I did paint both sides, but you will probably notice, maybe you can actually on camera, but one of the sides I didn't do as many coats of paint. You could probably guess why, because I was just tired of it. I was tired of it, and one of the sides of this anyways is gonna be like literally on the inside, so I literally don't care. But yeah, I did that. So as you can see, these are just all of the pieces that are now completed and ready to dry. Most of them are like completely dry. I should say dry enough to handle. Some of them are kind of freshly painted from today, but everything for the most part is done, and I'm happy about that.